Or please state your name when making a comment or asking a question so we can have a record of who spoke. We will begin now. We will now begin the meeting with a roll call of the members. Justice, if you would, please.
Thank you, Chair. I'll start with Matt Dudley.
Present.
Thank you. Andrew Blanchard.
Present.
Thank you. Jason Crampton. Jose Macias.
Present.
Thank you. Jeff Graves.
Here.
Thank you. Christine McMurdy. Dawn Coomer.
Hi, this is Dawn. I'm here.
Thank you, Dawn. Tony Flood. Reed Kempton.
Here.
Thank you. Jody Sorrell. William Beloit.
Here.
Thank you. Vice Chair Corapella.
Here.
Thank you. Kristen Taylor. Sam Stevenson.
Here.
Thank you. Gabe Elias.
Here.
Thank you. Grant Anderson.
Here.
Thank you. Aubrey Perry. Tara Harmon.
Present.
Thank you. Ryan McDonald.
Present.
Thank you. Aaron Xavier.
Present.
Thank you. Chair, that's quorum. You may proceed.
All right, very good. Thank you, sir. Our next item is a call to the audience. MAG provides the opportunity for the public to comment on items that fall under MAG's jurisdiction that are not on the agenda, or for informational items or items on the agenda for discussion but not for action. Members of the public are invited to submit these written comments via the MAG website. Any comments received 2 hours prior to the meeting have been shared with committee members in advance of the meeting for consideration and will be included in the formal meeting minutes. Justice, have we received any online written comments for the call to the audience?
Thank you, Chair Link. We have not received any online written comments for the call to the audience.
All right, very good. Takes us to item 3, Transportation Planning and Performance Program Manager's Report. This item is on the agenda for information and will be presented by Hannah Quincy, Transportation Planner. Hannah?
Thank you, Chair. First, I'd like to start out and recognize Chair Link. With Chair Link's retirement approaching, we would like to express our most sincere gratitude for the 8 years of devoted service and commitment that you've shown to this transit committee. Chair Link, thank you so much for your tenure on the community and for your leadership as well.
Thank you, Hannah.
As this is Chair Link's last meeting, I'd like to extend an invitation to all the committee members to join us in wishing him well in retirement. With Chair Link's departure, the chair position will be assumed by Vice Chair Corapella. Her first meeting as chair will be June's annual joint meeting with MAG's Active Transportation Committee. With the vice chair position soon to be vacant, we sent out a solicitation requesting letters of interest for the position. Following these submissions, the executive committee will meet and the successful applicant will be appointed to the vice chair position. Next, we are pleased to share that the City of Phoenix has received a $1.2 million FTA pilot program grant to promote transit-oriented development around light rail stations. This is the 5th TOD grant awarded to the City of Phoenix, and it demonstrates the city's dedication to growing sustainably with an eye towards public transit access and economic development. I also wanted to remind the committee that preparations are underway for our annual joint meeting with the Active Transportation Committee. This meeting will be held on Monday, June 3rd at 1 p.m. at MAG offices. And we are planning for an in-person meeting with a virtual option, of course, but we really hope to see many of you there in person. Finally, I just wanted to provide a staffing update. As you've probably noticed, as of this meeting, Justice Baruman, who is our newest addition to the MAG Transportation Planning and Performance team, he will be taking over staffing the MAG Transit Committee. So Justice is here to support you on all transit committee matters. Please reach out to him if you need any assistance. Thank you, Chair. That completes my report.
Thanks, Hannah. Does anybody that any of the committee members have any questions for Hannah? All right, seeing none, takes us to item 4, approval of the April 1st, 2024 meeting minutes. This is, does any member of the committee have any questions regarding the minutes? Okay, hearing none. Prior to the approval of the meeting minutes, there is an opportunity for members of the public to comment on them. Justice, have you received any online written comments for this item?
Thank you, Chair. We have not received any online written comments for the meeting minutes.
Very good. With that as the case, is there a motion to approve agenda item number 4?
So moved. This is Jason, City of Chandler.
Thank you, Jason. Do we have a second?
Second, Sam and Tempe.
Thank you, Sam. We will have those participate in the meeting take part in a voice vote by turning on their cameras and unmuting their audio. We need to see the faces of everyone to participate in the voice vote. For those who cannot or do not want to turn on their cameras, Justice will conduct a roll call vote after the voice vote. He will only call on those virtual participants who did not turn on their camera. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote so that Justice can count the people's names whose cameras are not on. Okay, having said all that, can I have a voice vote? Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Those opposed, say nay. Okay, very good. Members, please leave your cameras on and Justice will take a roll call of the members who did not turn on their cameras. Justice?
Thank you, Chair. It seems I only need Gabe Elias. How do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Chair, the motion passes. You may proceed.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Item number 5, regional programming guidelines for federal transit formula funds update. This item is on the agenda to recommend approval and will be presented by Steph Stearns, MAG Transportation Analyst. Steph, it's all yours.
Good afternoon, Chair Link. Thank you very much. And good afternoon, members of the Transit Committee. Pleased to be here to present this item for action. If I could please have the next slide. So this is the third time this item has come through the committee. All of this information should be quite familiar to you, but I will still go through everything briefly. The regional programming guidelines for federal transit formula funds are the regional policy for allocating FTA funds in the region, and they were last updated in 2019. MAG is proposing a series of technical updates to the guidelines, which are precipitated by the 2020 census. And I just wanted to note that the proposed updates do not include any Prop 479 policy changes. Next slide, please. Just a quick reminder of what the 2020 census changes were. We saw updated urban area names in the region for Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale, and Phoenix West, Goodyear, Avondale urban areas, and then a new urban area in the Maricopa urban area. Next slide, please. The proposed updated guidelines are included in the agenda packet for your review. There are general updates and cleanup to the document text and graphics. The sections with programming updates include sections 500 and 600, which detail the updates to the preventive maintenance formula, which was just passed through the Transit Committee last month in April. And then section 800 was also updated, which details the newly added Maricopa urban area. Next slide, please. And then based on feedback at the April Transit Committee meeting, additional detail was added to 2 sections. The first of which is section 500, we detailed improvements required by law, and then funding for support services for grant management in section 500. And then in section 700, we added some more details for the priority 7 process. Next slide, please. Chair Link and members of the committee, that concludes my presentation. Happy to answer any questions for you, and the action requested is on the screen.
Thank you, Steph. Do any members have any questions or comments regarding the item for Steph? Okay, I don't see any. Very good. Okay, so we're going to take a vote. So prior to voting, there's an opportunity for members of the public to comment. Justice, have we received any online written comments for this item?
Thank you, Chair. We've not received any online public written comments for agenda item 5.
Very good. Is there a motion to recommend approval of the updated regional programming guidelines for federal transit formula funds?
This is Matt Dudley. Move for approval.
Thank you, Matt. Do we have a second?
Anderson, second.
Thank you, Grant. Okay, we will take a vote again by turning on our cameras and unmuting our audio. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote. Okay, can I have a voice vote? Those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. Very good. Members, please leave your cameras on. Justice, do we need to take a roll call of any members that did not have their camera on?
Thank you, Chair. Aubrey Perry, I saw you turn your camera on after. How do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Gabriel Elias, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. And Tony Flood, how do you vote? Tony Flood, how do you vote? Thank you, Chair. The motion passes, and you may proceed.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Item number 6, fiscal year 2024 5310 program recommendations for the Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale, and Phoenix West Goodyear Avondale urban areas. This item is on the agenda to recommend approval and will be presented by Didi Gastia, Human Services Transportation Program Manager. Didi, it's all yours.
Thank you, Chair, members of the committee. Next slide. The Section 5310 program makes funding available for capital and operating projects to support transportation services to meet the needs of older adults and individuals with disability when transportation is insufficient, unavailable, or inappropriate. Eligible applicants are private nonprofit organizations, public agencies where no viable private nonprofit organization is available, and tribal governments. Eligible populations are those organizations providing services to older adults age 65 and older, and agencies serving persons with disability. Funding is available for traditional capital, which includes vehicles, equipment, preventive maintenance, and mobility management projects. Also for eligible operating projects that exceed ADA services. In 2014, Regional Council approved MAG to coordinate and program the Section 5310 application with the City of Phoenix as a designated recipient. Next slide. This process now includes the evaluation of Section 5310 projects request in the Phoenix, Mesa, Scottsdale urban area and the Phoenix West, Goodyear, and Avondale urban area. Next slide. Before I begin, I would like to provide some background information on how we prepare for this process. Before the results of the 2020 census, we anticipated regional boundary change. And actually, we did anticipate that we would absorb the Phoenix West area. Once information was available, we started to prepare for 2 urban areas in our region. In 2023, staff kept in contact with John Bullen and Patrick and staff in the Transportation Division regarding the process. With guidance through the City of Phoenix, again, has a designated recipient, and our Elderly Persons with Disability Chair and vice chair. We also sought out guidance from Chris Zeilinger, who is the Assistant Director of the Community Transportation Association of America. We listened to FTA listen sessions to prepare ourselves in integrating the process into our region. We were also invited to sit on a panel at the CTAA National Conference to discuss how we prepared for the boundary changes with other states, some that were experiencing expansion of the regional areas and some that saw decrease. We saw small urban areas go into rural designations. After Regional Council recommended Phoenix as the DR for the Phoenix West Goodyear Avondale area, the EPDT committee met, and their consensus was that because there was already a process in place, that they recommended to integrate the new area into the Section 5310 regional application process. In January, we continued working with Phoenix as our DR, including input from the committee, and were able to finalize the application and handbook. And we released the application at the end of the month. In February, Phoenix MAG and Phoenix staff provided one-on-one technical support to support our applicants applying for these federal funds. Also, our local mobility, sub-region mobility managers provided a peer one-on-one workshop to answer any questions from any potential applicant. Applications were due at the end of the month of February. In March, MAG and Phoenix staff conducted a 2-week internal review to ensure all applications met federal eligibility and regional criteria. This ensures that the committee, when evaluation began, were presented with all eligible applications. We did find out that 2 applications were deemed ineligible to move forward for evaluation. One had an incomplete application with required documents, and one had an eligible federal request. In April, the EPDT conducted 2 days of interviews of all applicants. The applicants provided an overview of their agencies, described the need for the requested projects, and they answered any additional questions from the committee. At the conclusion of the second day of interviews, the committee did develop the priority listing. In May and June, where we're at today, MAG staff is taking the priority listing through the MAG committee process for recommendation approval and in June, approval from the Regional Council to forward to Phoenix to develop the consolidated application to submit to the city, FTA. Phoenix, as our DR, will utilize a priority listing of projects to draw down federal apportionments. And again, this recommendation is to approve the priority listing. Next slide. An overview of the evaluation process was based on the following criteria that is outlined in the handbook and on the committee rubric for evaluation. They were reviewing that the applicant had the capability and experience to perform the requested project. They met program objectives, budgets were appropriate to the project, and the participation in regional coordination efforts has federally required. Also, to move forward for awarding, they were required to have a threshold of 70 points. This was based on a national research criteria that other states were using. The priority listing is based on the final ranking of all applications. Federal requirements of awarding is not less than 55% for traditional capital requests. So not less than 55% of the total apportionments are to go to the traditional capital request. This also includes a 10% administration fee. The committee does use for programming purposes 60% for traditional capital to ensure we meet the federal requirements. Next slide. I will provide an overview of the application, overview of the priority of the applications that we received. For the Phoenix, thank you, for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale urban area. Apportionments, and this is the first time since I've been doing this process for a little over 15 years, that I've not seen an incremental increase in our apportionments from the federal government. We remain basically the same as apportionments as we received last year, at 5.2. At the 10% administration was over $526,000. The traditional request that we received was over $202,000 of the minimum of 55% that is required for this purpose. In 2023, we had a carryover amount of over $1 million that is specifically only going towards traditional capital. So the total request that we received for the Phoenix Mesa urban area was over 5.4 million. Next slide. The next slide provides just an overview of the type of requests that we received for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale area. We had a total of 40 application requests that included for mobility management projects, 10 preventive maintenance, 16 preventive maintenance requests, a equipment request, 6 cutaway vans, 9 raised roof vans, and 8 minivans, for a total project request of 27. We also received 13 operating requests for a total of 1.5, including the administration costs. So the total federal request was over 4.5. We are requesting to utilize the traditional carryover from 2023 to cover the $202,000 over the request of overage of requests that we received for the traditional capital. So the priority list in your packet today reflects a 5.4 total request for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale area. I just want to note that the remainder, about 800,000 of the 2023 traditional requests will roll over to 2025. Again, that amount of traditional carryover is only for traditional capital requests that will utilize and draw down those funds. Next slide. We received an overview for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale area. A total of 7 requests. We received a little over 400,000 of total apportionment for this area, with 7 project requests at 1.7. And I would like to say during our listening sessions, our FTA listening sessions, they did request to suggest that staff go out and provide as much information regarding this new funding sources. And I like to say the request reflected that I think we did a really good, positive job of ensuring that all of our member agencies knew that this funding apportionment was available in the West Valley. The priority listing does include a 10% administration, which is 43,000. So the total federal request reflected in the priority listing is 436,322. Next slide. And the priority listing does reflect that we were able to cover 1 capital request and 4 operating requests for the amount of apportionments. 2 agencies were not able to, were not recommended due to the available apportionments that we had for this area. Next slide. The action request today is to recommend approval of the priority listing of projects for the FY 2024, Section 5310 Enhanced Mobility of Seniors and Individuals with Disability Program for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale and the Phoenix West Goodyear Avondale urban areas. This concludes my presentation, Chair and members of the committee.
Thank you, Dee Dee. Do any members have any questions or comments for Dee Dee?
This is Matt Dudley, City of Avondale. As chair of the 5310 committee, I just want to throw out a lot of thanks for Dee Dee, Mimi, and City Phoenix, especially Wendy Miller for putting together, again, a great process. You know, the committee had almost 50 things that they had to review this whole entire year, and this is not an easy thing to do. So Dee Dee, Wendy, Mimi, I appreciate all the hard work that you guys put in to doing this. And it's a very fair process. And I think it turned out just exactly the way we needed to after 20 plus years of going through this program. So I appreciate all the help.
Thanks, Matt. Any other questions or comments for Dee Dee?
Oh, actually, one more thing, Dee Dee, when we go and approve this, I just noticed as we were going through the Phoenix West Goodyear Avondale that for the city of Goodyear, the agency description is actually what you have in there is for the GUS services for city of Glendale. So if you can just kind of make that minor change and put in the agency description for Goodyear and what they award, everything else on that line is perfect. And then I think we'd be exactly where we need to be.
Thank you, Chair Dudley. Goodyear appreciates that catch.
Oh, come on. We could take the extra funding.
You guys got enough in Glendale.
Anybody else? All right. Prior to voting, there's an opportunity for members of the public to comment. Justice, have you received any online written comments regarding this item? Can anybody hear me?
My bad.
Oh,
We hear you, Kevin.
thanks, Matt.
Thank you, Chair. We've not received any online public comments for item 6 on the agenda.
Very good. Can I get a motion to recommend approval of the priority listings of projects for the fiscal year 2024 5310 program recommendations for the Phoenix Mesa Scottsdale and Phoenix West Goodyear Avondale urban areas?
Move for approval. This is Matt Dudley, City of Avondale, with the one caveat to change the agency description for City of Goodyear.
So noted. Thank you, Matt. Can I have a second?
Kristen from Surprise, I'll second.
Thank you, Kristen. Okay, we'll vote by turning on our cameras again and unmuting the audio. Members, please leave your cameras on until after the roll call vote. Can I have a voice vote? Those in favor, please say aye.
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 Any opposed, say nay. Very good. Members, please leave your cameras on. Justice, if you can take a roll call of the members participating virtually that did not have their cameras on.
Thank you, Chair. Gabriel Elias, how do you vote?
Aye.
Thank you. Chair, the motion passes and you may proceed.
Very good. Thank you, sir. Item number 7, requests for future agenda items. Are there any requests from the membership for an item on a future agenda?
This is Matt Dudley, City of Avondale. Kevin, congratulations. I know on your retirement. I appreciate all the hard work that you've done, but looking also kind of a future agenda item, maybe kind of looking at how the vice chair and the chair position work. I know we're going into a new plan and we have, 2-year increments for that. And Kevin, definitely appreciate the last couple months you've been on representing the West Valley, but looking at maybe a little more equitable approach kind of in the future. I know outside of Kevin, I don't think the West Valley has been a chair. Not that it is a fun position, I've heard, but maybe kind of looking at it in a different way as we're going into the new plan about seeing how the chair and the vice chair and when positions become vacant. Right now, I know it's a policy discussion and that's not something we can do, but maybe kind of looking at that in the future, if maybe there's a different way of looking at it.
Absolutely. Chair and members of the committee, the way we had it now is it does roll back over to the members of the Valley, as you're familiar with, but we can absolutely see what we can discuss and take a look at that in the future.
All right, thanks, Justice.
Okay, item 8 are any comments or announcements from the membership. Does anybody have any comments or announcements they'd like to make for the good of the order?
Kevin, it's Christine from Goodyear, and congratulations on your retirement. I will not even shy away from stating that I am very jealous. And the fact that you're leaving for a cooler climate makes me even more so. So thank you for all of your service. You definitely had a very lively experience there in Glendale.
Yes, to say the least. Thanks, Christine, and thanks, Matt, and thanks everybody for the well wishes and your comments. I appreciate it. It's been a fun 22 years. But like Christine said, it's time to head to the mountains. Anybody else?
Kevin, this is Ratna. Can you hear me? Yeah. Congratulations again on your retirement and your contributions to the transit field and all the help and support you provided when Scottsdale needed that support. So wishing you all the best.
Thank you, Radna. I appreciate that, and you're welcome anytime. All right. Reminder to committee members that the Transit Committee and Active Transportation Committee joint meeting is scheduled to occur in person at MAG in offices on Monday, June 3rd. Like Hannah mentioned at the beginning of the meeting at 1 p.m. If there's no further business, today's meeting is adjourned at 1:31. Thank you, everybody. Have a great summer, and I wish you well.
Thanks, Kev. See you.